Hi, my name is Darlene Rainey, and I'm here because of the gun violence. My son, Lamont William Medea Jr., was 24, and on 8/8/2018, he was getting ready to go to China to play ball. He was going down on Gregg Street to work out. A car pulled up, shot from the car, he went down. Then the shooter got out and shot him until he killed him, basically. I'm against gun violence because guns in the wrong hands are killing too many of our people, our children, and it's outrageous that we have to, as a mother, have to say rest in peace, have to close the casket to our child. And I've been fighting for almost 4 years. It will be 4 years on 8/8/2018. Congress, I'm begging you, you need to do something about these guns. It's not fun out here. Kids are ducking bullets. They can't go to school. They can't go to the ice cream truck without somebody taking their lives. I am my son's voice now. It has been silenced by no choice of his. My son was 24. He was getting ready to live his best life. His dream finally came true. And he was hunted down. Assault rifles, the manufacturers need to ban those. We don't need them in our communities. Nobody's hunting in our communities with an AR-15. Nobody's hunting in our neighborhoods with extended clip. My son was shot 10 times. And on his death certificate it says multiple gunshot wounds. Multiple, I don't know if it stops at a certain number, but my son's was 10. And I didn't find it out from an autopsy because they refused to give me an autopsy. I had to find it out from the funeral home. So I'm here to beg you, pass this bill. Stop worrying about whether it's a Democratic thing, a Republican. You all need to come together and do what needs to be done for our communities, for our children, for our schools. There's no point in nobody walking up into anywhere firing shots off. Ban the video games, that's a part of it too. Because if you look at the doorbell rings, all you see is video games. Who aims a gun behind them and shoot? Where's that bullet going? We don't know. They don't know. We need to stop the gun violence. This is my fight for the last almost 4 years, stopping gun violence. You see something, say something, open your mouth. Stop sitting silent. That's how the ones in my son's case was caught. I got out there and I protested. And I said, if you see something, say something. Today is my son. Tomorrow it could be your brother, your father, your mother, your grandmother. You could be sitting in the house and a bullet come through the window. It have no names. The manufacturers need to cut down on manufacturing these guns, the bullets, extended clips. You need to be held accountable. We're sitting here saying rest in peace. We're sitting here crying. We're sitting here missing our family members at the dinner table. I just turned 60 years old 2 days ago, and my son was not here to celebrate with me. He wasn't here to say, Mom, happy birthday. But it doesn't matter to Congress because you're up there sitting in Congress and looking out at what I don't know. Because it's not the people. You want our votes until you get in there. But then you're sitting turning your head and not paying attention to what the people are asking. You need to do what you were elected to do, to look out for the people. Keep us safe. You are not sitting where we are. Nobody's getting to you shooting through your windows, shooting down your sidewalk because you're not in our neighborhoods. You're somewhere else because you can afford to be somewhere else. And I'm sick and tired of hearing rest in peace. I'm sick and tired of making buttons. My attire for the day is wearing a button of my son's face saying, long live Tree, rest in peace. On my back says, we're losing too many. We are losing too many people to gun violence. And it's a shame there's blood running down the streets. And who are we to hold accountable for that? Somebody needs to raise their hand and say, oh, I'm going to take part to do something different. Because you need to do something different. My son don't have another chance. His son doesn't have another chance. My son, baby, turned a year old 5 days after he was buried. He had one Father's Day with his son. One Father's Day. I haven't seen my grandson in 2 years because my son is not here. I don't have any rights to see him because I'm just a grandparent after having him for 18 months because the system say so. So I'm begging you, stop sitting, turning your head, looking the other way. We're the ones hurting and trying to patch our families back together, patch our lives back together. We're the ones that waking up during the middle of the night thinking about that loved one that we had to bury. And I had to put my son in a mausoleum because I didn't know who did it. And I said I didn't want them coming tearing his grave up. So I go and I celebrate his life because he's my son. He meant something to me. This is not just a face a mom would love. He had so many friends. I go to the cemetery and I see, well, people go there all the time. And it encourages me because my son's life wasn't in vain. And he lived here for a moment. Regardless of how he died, he touched a lot of lives. It was over 10,000 people at my son's funeral. I have a documentary out on Oxygen. It's called The Final Moments. The Streets Are Talking, episode 8. You need to watch it and you can see the evidence of gun violence. My son was gunned down right on the video. And I'm sick of them turning around and turning their heads, well, there's nothing we could do. Maybe we could do it tomorrow. Tomorrow may never come for a lot of us. It may never come. We need to wake up. Democrats, Republicans, you all need to stand up and stand together. That's what we elect you for. Don't sit up there and act like this is your world. It's not your world. We put you there and we can take you out of there. And you need to stand up and be counted for. Don't turn your head, make a number count. The numbers, how many are in Congress? You all need to band together because it's not your world. NRA, we don't need you. We don't need you backing these guns that don't need to be in our community. Who can hunt with an AR-15? What are you going to be eating? Necessary. We don't need it. Get rid of it. We don't need it. We're not in the military. And anybody that buys it at the gun show, they're not in the military. They need to be banned. They shouldn't be able to get easy access to. They need to raise the gun laws to be able to buy a gun at the age of 25. Because why do you need it at 21? You should be in college, getting an education. I have 6 kids. I had 6 kids that's living. None of them went and got an AR-15 because that wasn't the most important thing to them. School, education, providing for you, getting a better education, owning your own business. I have some that have 2 and 3 businesses. Some went to college, but they're not out here running down the street like Dylan Walsh, playing target practice, and then get off and go take a trip to the White House. What is that? Give somebody a trip to the White House that passed kindergarten through 12th grade and in college and trying to do better for themselves, trying to make a difference. Reach one and bring one up. These children is what make the world go round, but they're being killed off. They're being murdered off. They're plucking them off. Why? Because that's our future. Guns don't need to be out here. Congress, get off your behinds and do what you're supposed to do. I'm sick of seeing you on MSNBC turning your head, because I do watch that. And it makes no sense to sit up there and turn your head and people are steady at the funeral home. Steady leaving the burial ground, leaving their loved ones there. My son was somebody. He was mine. He was our family. He was our whole world. When the family circle is broken, it's broken. And you cannot put it back together. Nothing that Congress can do can put it back together. Guns in the wrong hands kill people. My son, I watched the documentary 3 times, not knowing where my son was shot at because nobody told me. When the detectives do a little sketch, everywhere that my son was shot at, somebody had to have been to the gun range, because there's no way you're going to hit a moving target like that. And I looked at all the wounds. It was in the main places to take him down. He was 6'6", 6'7". And if you watch the video, you can see him running and going to the ground. You hunted my son like an animal. And what am I supposed to do? I am his voice, and I'm going to keep on speaking out. I don't care who get elected and who don't get elected. If you can't solve the problem, then you need to leave. We're asking you to vacate your seat. If you're going to sit there and not pay attention to what we're saying, you need to leave. Go back to Kentucky, wherever you come from. We don't need you here in Washington, D.C., because the change is going to come. You're going to put up or you're going to shut up and get out, because that's your next step, because we're not going to stand for it. Numbers matter. If we have to protest every day or do whatever we have to do, it will get done. Trust and believe that, because my son dying won't be in vain. And I do believe in God. Trust and believe. And I know that God had another plan for him. Even though his life was taken, God had another plan, because he's touched so many people even after his death. And I will not be silent. I will not be silent. Congress, put up, shut up, or get out. And that's what we're here to say. The families, the victim families, we're here to tell you that we're coming. And you're going to hear us over and over again until you decide to change. I don't know, you must have a black heart because you're not getting it. But you're going to get it, because we're going to make you get it. And I thank God for you all being here. I thank God for you all speaking up for your family members, because their voices are silent. And mine will not be silent, because this is my voice. My son, Lamont William Adair Jr. His life will live on through us. Thank you all.